Slowly, Chakra opened her eyes and took stock of where she was.
That's right.
Falcon's house, she muttered to herself, remembering the night before. After a moment, she noticed the note left for her. After reading the brief message and smiling at it without noticing, she got up and walked down the stairs. Chakra was excited to look around Falcon's kitchen. It was small, but with more storage space than she had ever had for anything, let alone for just food and dishes. Since she didn't really have much experience cooking, she settled on making toast with butter and jam. Chakra crunched on her sweet breakfast and looked around Falcon's little home again. It seemed so stable, constant, and comfortable. She had stayed in hotel rooms before, when her job was particularly lucrative. However, there was just something about a pony's actual house that was so much more comforting. She continued looking around in the kitchen at the number of baking utensils that Falcon owned. Chakra was always surprised how well earth ponies could bake without magic. She started to idly wonder if Falcon could teach her how to use some of these things. Chakra felt a warm flicker of hope inside of her chest, and automatically she began to clamp down and deny the thoughts that had started swirling up. Then she realized she was alone, with no obligations, and as much time on her hooves as she wanted before going to meet her kind host. She relaxed and allowed herself to fantasize a little.
I wonder if Falcon knows how to make those tarts that her mother made last night. Maybe she could teach me. I bet they would be lovely made with wild plums.
She let herself fantasize about just staying in Gallup with her new friend. She thought about what it would be like if things could possibly stay like they were right now, and about if she didn't have to be a traveling showmare. After some time, she even started to wonder, what would it be like if she had the freedom to give Falcon a real chance? She was a little taken aback by her own imaginings, but here, alone, in this comforting place, she could finally be calm and honest with herself. She knew that she did feel something for the mare, but wasn't exactly sure what that was. It wasn't like when she'd been interested in one stallion or another. However, the more she thought about it, it didn't exactly feel different either. Just when she was starting to think that maybe the main difference was just her own hesitation. Chakra jumped slightly as some pony quickly knocked on the door. She debated whether she should answer it or not, being a guest, and eventually decided that it would be less suspicious if she did. Somewhere on the back of her mind, she hoped it wasn't Raceway. Chakra was relieved when she opened the door and an older gray stallion stood there, looking in curiously, with a large bag strapped on either side of his blue uniform. It was just the male pony.
"Hello. I've never seen you around here before," the male pony said with a hint of suspicion.
Well, I'm a traveling fortune teller, just passing through town, and Falcon invited me to stay with her until after the race,
Chakra said in a cheerful tone, hoping this pony would believe her sincerity. Apparently he did, because a grin spread across his face as he continued.
"Oh, that's just like the Strong-Wind family to help out. Quite the big-hearted group they are. From what I've heard, they've taken in many a pony down on their luck."
He said all this while fiddling with the clasp of his mailbag.
Yeah, they've been pretty nice to me.
In that moment, she remembered how she was pulled into last night's family dinner, and felt so embarrassed and out of place. Now she saw it in a different light. They weren't questioning her because of her inexplicable interaction with Falcon. They were just trying to make her feel welcome in their home. The male pony kept chattering on, and Chakra missed a few words amidst her epiphany before she regained her focus.
"I wouldn't be surprised if this were an invitation to join them this very day,"
he said, giving Chakra an envelope with Falcon's name on it.
"That young mare is on quite a path to success. Equestria Games gold's in her future, I betcha. Well, what am I doing telling you that? You're the fortune teller, after all."
Chakra chuckled rather mirthlessly.
Well, I'd best be off. Lots of mail to deliver. You have yourself a nice day, young lady,
he said, before waddling off with a smile. Chakra could feel the muscles of her face still pulled up into a smile. That was a habit of hers, smiling when she was unhappy. She stepped back from the door and closed it, depositing the letter on the kitchen table and letting her forced smile fade. She looked up at the kitchen again, and it looked colder and less inviting than it had before. Why had she been so foolishly fantasizing before? She couldn't stay here. Things couldn't just keep being the way they were last night. She sat down upon the wood floor, and her eyes clenched against the feeling of oncoming tears as she thought to herself. She was a traveling showmare, and that was the only way she knew to make a living. She refused to just live off the charity of others, and she couldn't lead Falcon on if she was just going to leave. Chakra felt that her special talent didn't amount to much, but she could sense Falcon's ambitions, and she had felt them shifting in the last few days. If Chakra being around were to interfere with Falcon becoming a national athlete, the scandal alone of her being associated with some transient, fake psychic con pony. No, Chakra thought to herself, I can't get in the way of her dreams. She wasn't selfish enough to take something like that away from Falcon. Then she thought of the little dream she had concocted for herself before the knock on the door. For a moment, she stopped reasoning with herself and thought about what she really wanted. If she left, she would never have another chance to be this close to Falcon again. Despite all of her questions and hesitation and her dislike of how vulnerable she felt around the mare, she couldn't help wanting to know what it would be like if she gave Falcon a real chance. She decided to have one really great day with Falcon, something she could hold on to when she went back out on the road. Besides, Raceway might be right. Falcon might only be getting close to her because she's counting on Chakra leaving town soon. Either way, Chakra couldn't deny the new little flutter she felt in her heart.